What if I told you a mountain of stone in Lebanon was built with technology humanity still doesn't possess? Beneath the burning sun of the Bekaa Valley, the megaliths of Baalbek tower in silent defiance of history. Some weigh more than a fully loaded Boeing 747. Others stretch longer than city buses lined end to end. And yet, thousands of years ago, someone moved them, placed them, and built with them as if they were nothing more than bricks. But how? At the heart of the site, 3 colossal stones, known as the trilithon, sit stacked in perfect alignment, each nearly 800 tons. To move just one would require machinery not invented until the space age. And yet, here they rest, locked together with joints so precise that not even a razor can slip between them. If this fascinates you, hit like and subscribe, because the mystery you're about to witness is unlike anything you've ever imagined. Even stranger, the base beneath them is carved with flawless symmetry, as if guided by a blueprint far beyond the reach of its supposed builders. Historians long credited the Romans, masters of concrete and arches, with this feat. Yet Roman records, meticulous in every other detail, make no mention of lifting stones of this scale. Not a single inscription, not one story, not a shred of evidence. Silence surrounds the very stones that should have been their proudest achievement. And then, just meters away, the mystery deepens. In an abandoned quarry lies the stone of the pregnant woman, an unfinished block measuring over 1,000 tons, left half-buried in the earth. Archaeologists once thought it was abandoned due to cracks, but recent scans show it was fully intact, carefully shaped and aligned as if awaiting transport. Even more astonishing, in 2014, researchers uncovered another monolith beneath it, heavier still, weighing nearly 1,650 tons, the largest cut stone ever discovered on Earth. That single block outweighs nearly every stone at the Great Pyramid combined. The fact that ancient builders not only attempted it, but shaped it with mathematical perfection, raises a chilling question. Were they truly planning to move it? And if so, how? The sheer scale isn't the only anomaly. At the edges of Baalbek's platform, weathered blocks bear drill marks, circular impressions identical to those made by modern core drills, yet set in limestone thousands of years old. To some, this suggests forgotten technologies, tools capable of boring through rock at speeds ancient chisels could never achieve. Others point to the peculiar tool marks etched along the stone's surfaces, parallel grooves like machine striations, running in uniform patterns. Were these the fingerprints of lost machinery, or natural erosion misread by the human eye? The debate has never ended, because the evidence refuses to disappear. Yet perhaps the most unsettling detail is alignment. Baalbek is not just a random heap of stone. It is positioned with astronomical precision. Its axis aligns with the rising of certain stars, its walls tracing lines that repeat the geometry of ancient temples thousands of miles away. From the ziggurats of Mesopotamia to the sanctuaries of Egypt, patterns repeat, as if orchestrated by a single design language. Was Baalbek a Roman temple retrofitted onto an older, far more advanced foundation? If so, then who laid that first platform, and why were their methods erased from human memory? As excavation expanded, fragments of myth seemed to breathe through the dust. Local legends spoke of giants who carried the stones on their shoulders, echoing biblical tales of Nephilim who once roamed the earth. Medieval chroniclers swore that the site was built by Cain himself, cursed to wander after slaying his brother. Later, Islamic traditions whispered that Solomon commanded jinn, supernatural beings of fire and air, to haul the blocks into place for his temple. Stories change, but one theme remains constant. No ordinary humans could have raised Baalbek. Modern science, too, has stumbled into contradictions. Carbon dating offers no clear timeline for the earliest layers. The Roman ruins above date to the 1st century AD, but the platform beneath may predate them by thousands of years. Geological studies reveal that the limestone quarry from which the stones came lies uphill from the site, a logistical nightmare since moving blocks downhill risks uncontrollable momentum. And yet the stones were transported, aligned, and laid with precision unthinkable for sledges, ropes, and manpower alone. Even attempts to reconstruct the feat with modern cranes and hydraulics have ended in failure, proving the enigma is not just ancient, it is timeless. Every answer only opens a deeper abyss. The silence of Roman records, the buried monoliths that dwarf the imagination, the tool marks that look mechanical in a world that should have been primitive, the astronomical alignments that echo civilizations separated by oceans, and the myths that refuse to die, each insisting the same unthinkable truth. Beneath the Roman ruins, archaeologists uncovered a hidden stratum of stone, blocks rougher, vaster, and eroded by millennia. Some seem almost geological, as if nature herself carved them, yet subtle chisel marks hide in the seams. Each layer peeled back felt like stepping further into time, civilizations stacking their temples atop an inheritance they could never explain. And at the lowest levels, a chilling realization emerged. The Romans were merely squatting on a monument they didn't understand. New technologies have only sharpened the riddle. Ground-penetrating radar scans beneath the main platform hint at cavities, hollow chambers sealed by megaliths. Some suggest storage vaults, others speculate ritual chambers aligned with celestial cycles. But the anomalies are too geometric to dismiss as natural. Thermal imaging reveals temperature differentials within the blocks themselves, as though some hold trapped air pockets or worse, metals. If proven, it would mean Baalbek is not only stone, but a machine, engineered with functions we have yet to decipher. Even the orientation of these hidden spaces matches solstice pathways, as if the builders sought to fuse architecture with astronomy in ways modern engineers can barely imitate. The surrounding landscape adds fuel to the fire. Just beyond Baalbek, ancient roadways appear, carved directly into bedrock, leading straight from the quarry to the site. Their grooves are not the shallow ruts of carts, but deep trenches, smoothed like rails by something far heavier than wooden wheels. At certain points, the path angles upward at grades no animal caravan could possibly manage, as though the stones themselves were floated rather than dragged. Locals whisper of singing ground, stretches where footsteps reverberate with odd echoes, hinting at subterranean cavities or perhaps long-collapsed tunnels. To engineers, these roads look less like primitive trails and more like infrastructure, industrial routes designed with foresight that defies the timeline of ancient Lebanon. Legends surrounding the site conceal further clues. Ancient Greek writers referred to Baalbek as Heliopolis, the city of the sun. Yet within the name lies a strange echo of far older traditions, connecting the site not to Rome but to Mesopotamia, where Baal was worshipped as a storm god. Clay tablets from Babylon describe a house of the sky, built with stones too heavy for men, raised by gods with wings of fire. These accounts are thousands of years older than Rome, yet they describe a platform uncannily similar to Baalbek's. The implication is staggering. The Romans may have merely renamed a site that already had legendary status for civilizations long lost to time. As researchers compared myths across cultures, parallels multiplied. The Sumerians spoke of structures where the Anunnaki landed from the heavens. In Egyptian lore, giant beings built sanctuaries for Osiris with blocks that no man could shift. Even in Hebrew tradition, the land of Lebanon was tied to Solomon, whose temple was built with cedars, and some claim megaliths hauled by spirits of flame. When cross-referenced, the stories converge on one haunting motif. Baalbek was not human labor at all. It was a landing site, a stage for contact between Earth and powers from beyond. Whether one calls them gods, angels, or visitors from the stars, the architectural fingerprints remain the same. Stones too vast, too perfect, too deliberate for hands alone. The closer experts looked, the less ordinary Baalbek became. Seismic studies suggest that the trilithon's placement acts as a stabilizer, dampening vibrations from earthquakes that have toppled lesser ruins nearby. How could ancient builders have known resonance engineering? A science rediscovered only in the modern era. On solstice days, light shafts align through broken archways, striking precise spots on the platform as if designed for celestial rituals. Even the wear on staircases tells a story. Erosion so deep, it suggests use over thousands of years, far longer than Roman occupation alone. Each measurement, each anomaly, each myth hinted at a truth that ordinary eyes could scarcely grasp. And when experts dug deeper, the mysteries only multiplied. Whispers began to circulate among those with access to restricted excavation notes. Beneath the limestone surface, core samples revealed traces of a compound not native to Lebanon. Microscopic flecks of silicate fused into the rock as if exposed to extreme heat. Geologists compared it to vitrification, the process that turns stone to glass under temperatures hotter than volcanic magma. No primitive fire could have done this. To achieve such transformation requires technology closer to plasma torches or nuclear energy. If these results hold, the foundation of Baalbek is not simply carved, it is engineered, molecularly altered to withstand the erosion of eternity. Equally haunting are the magnetic anomalies. Survey teams recorded compass needles spinning wildly when placed near certain joints in the trilithon. Instruments that should have measured simple north-south orientation instead fluctuated, as if invisible currents pulsed within the stones themselves. Some claim these readings resemble the patterns found at megalithic sites across the globe, Stonehenge, Pumapunku, even the Great Pyramid, suggesting a global network of energy points. What if Baalbek was never just a platform, but a node in an ancient grid, designed to harness forces that modern science still struggles to name? International interest has not always been welcome. In the mid-20th century, French archaeologists requested full clearance to excavate beneath the trilithon. Permission was denied without explanation. Later, Soviet researchers visiting during the Cold War reported seeing crates of artifacts quietly removed from the site under armed guard. None of those items were ever catalogued. Even today, access to deeper levels is tightly controlled, with officials citing safety concerns. Yet satellite images leaked online hint at covered trenches, rectangular outlines beneath the earth concealed by makeshift roofing. Something has been found, and someone is making sure it never reaches the public record. The mythology surrounding secrecy finds a chilling echo in local oral traditions. Elders in Baalbek recall stories passed down for generations, of nights when the stones hummed as if alive, vibrating with a low resonance that rattled the chest. Others spoke of lights that danced above the platform, spheres of fire that appeared silently, hovered, and vanished into the horizon. Though dismissed as folklore, These accounts mirror descriptions from cultures oceans apart: indigenous legends in the Americas, Polynesian chants of sky fires, even medieval chronicles in Europe that speak of shining globes over sacred sites. Separate voices, separated by time and distance, all whispering the same vision. The stones are not silent, they are signaling. And as global archaeologists revisited the site, the anomalies multiplied. A recent LiDAR scan exposed geometric substructures extending beyond the known boundaries of the temple complex. These buried walls do not align with Roman architecture at all. They follow a different grid, angled to celestial coordinates rather than terrestrial axes. The revelation stunned surveyors. Baalbek may once have been far larger, its visible platform only a fraction of a sprawling complex. If the hidden extensions were uncovered, they could rewrite not only Lebanese history, but the chronology of civilization itself. And yet, excavation halts at every turn, blocked by bureaucratic red tape, leaving tantalizing outlines trapped beneath the soil. Global implications are impossible to ignore. Satellite mapping of Baalbek's orientation reveals an eerie resonance. Its axis aligns almost perfectly with other megalithic sites, forming a chain across continents. From Giza to Göbekli Tepe, from Angkor to Teotihuacan, invisible lines connect places of impossible stone. Scholars dismiss it as coincidence, but mathematicians argue the probability of such alignments occurring by chance is astronomically low. The suggestion lingers like a shadow. These monuments were not isolated marvels, but components of a design spanning the globe, as though the Earth itself had been mapped by an intelligence lost to time. And if the Earth seems etched with purpose, then the stones beneath our feet hold the code. Mathematicians analyzing the trilithon's dimensions found ratios that mirror constants in advanced physics, numbers echoing the speed of light and orbital mechanics. The lengths and angles correspond not just to Roman measurements, but to harmonics embedded in nature itself. Skeptics argue coincidence, yet the precision is unnerving. The platform resonates with the same mathematical code later rediscovered in quantum equations. It's as though the builders encoded knowledge centuries, perhaps millennia, before science was born. Then came the sound experiments. Acoustic engineers tested the site with low-frequency vibrations, striking the stones with mechanical hammers. The platform responded like a tuning fork, amplifying certain tones while suppressing others. Frequencies resonated in ways that altered human perception, producing dizziness, heightened awareness, even visions reported by volunteers. Such acoustic manipulation would have been impossible without a deep understanding of resonance. But if Baalbek was designed to control sound and consciousness, who was meant to experience it, and why? Clues emerged far beyond Lebanon. In Bolivia, at Pumapunku, engineers documented stone cuts so precise they resembled prefabricated molds. In Egypt, geologists noted quarry marks on granite identical to those seen at Baalbek. These fingerprints suggest a single tradition spanning continents, a shared technology linking civilizations oceans apart. Either ancient cultures exchanged knowledge across impossible distances, or they inherited tools and techniques from a common, forgotten source. Each connection tightens the web, binding Baalbek not to one empire, but to an entire lost epoch of human history. Satellite images revealed yet another enigma. Directly beneath Baalbek, gravitational anomalies suggest dense material buried deep, perhaps a hidden chamber, perhaps metal. Drilling has never been authorized, but simulations indicate the anomaly sits in perfect symmetry beneath the trilithon. To some, this symmetry feels intentional, as if the surface platform was merely the visible crown of something concealed below. Could Baalbek's foundation cover not only stone, but a relic, a mechanism, or an object of power deliberately entombed? Ancient texts add fuel to speculation. A Phoenician chronicle describes a sky ladder at Lebanon's high place, where gods descended in fire. Babylonian accounts speak of a shining fortress where mortals were forbidden to tread. And in later Islamic tradition, Baalbek became linked with Solomon, a king said to command both men and jinn, ruling with wisdom granted by the divine. Across languages and centuries, the same refrain is whispered. Baalbek was not built for worship alone, but as a bridge between worlds. The deeper modern science digs, the stranger it becomes. Particle detectors placed near the platform recorded spikes of radiation, short-lived bursts that vanished as mysteriously as they came. The bursts corresponded to astronomical events, as if the stones themselves were reacting to cosmic alignments. Even more unsettling, satellite scans during these episodes captured faint glows around the site, visible only in infrared. Officials dismissed the data as sensor error, yet the timing was too precise, too deliberate. Something in Baalbek seems alive to the heavens, as though awaiting a signal. And still, unanswered questions tower over the ruins like the stones themselves. Who carved the greatest monoliths known to man? Who mastered alignment, resonance, and geometry thousands of years before modern science? Why were records erased, artifacts hidden, excavations halted? And why, across cultures and epochs, do myths insist the site was not human at all, but the work of beings who walked among us, carrying knowledge too vast to comprehend? The stones remain, silent, yet deafening. Their scale mocks our machines. Their symmetry ridicules our precision. Their presence humbles every civilization that came after. And if the legends are true, if Baalbek was built not as a temple, but as a stage for contact, then perhaps the greatest mystery is not how it was built, but what it was waiting for.